Our today's lesson is about matrices. Previously we learned about determinants and now we know the different properties of determinants. So, we'll start with definition of matrices. What is matrix? An array of m into n numbers written in m rows and n columns is called a matrix of order m. So, if m by n be order of a matrix, then m represents number of row and n represents number of column. For example, for this matrix, it has two rows. This is first row, this is second row, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 columns. So its order is 2 by 4. 2 by 4, not 2 by 3. Order is. A matrix has no numerical value like determinants. This is the most important difference between matrix and determinant. Matrix never represents any value. The numbers here are called elements like determinant. The numbers lying in the nth row and mth column is called the AMN element, are denoted by AMN. AMN. So A23 represents the number line or element lying on the second row and third column, at the junction of second row and third column. For example, A34 represents the element lying at the junction of third row and fourth column. Now this example, this is wrongly written. This will be 2 by 4. It has 2 row and 4 columns. Here 5 is A11 element because it lies at the first row and first column. 8 lies in the second row and second column, so it is A22 element. Likewise, this 2 is A13 element and all these are written here. Type of matrix. Next comes type of matrix. Like determinant, there are different type of matrices and there are the definition of different type of matrices is almost looks alike that of determinants. Rectangular matrix. This was not in case of determinant because all determinants are square arrangements. So no question of rectangular arrangements occurs. If order of a matrix be m by n, where n not is equal to n, that is number of row and number of columns are different, then the matrix is called rectangular. Though this definition now changes because squares are also rectangular. So all matrices are rectangular, including squares. But squares has a special property, square matrix. If order of a matrix be n by n, that is number of row is equal to number of column, then it is called a square matrix. And square matrices possess some special property, some special definitions, and all others. There is a third type of matrix that is called empty matrix, a matrix with no element. It is represented by a blank third bracket or first bracket. By a blank third bracket or first bracket. Its order is 0 by 0. It is called empty matrix. So, from this definition, note that if m by n be order of a determinant, the value of m and n can be 0. But note that there is no matrix whose number of row is 0 and number of column is non-zero. That is not possible. That's why if mn be order of a matrix, then exactly one of m and n cannot be 0. Exactly one of m and n. You can't construct a matrix which has no row but 2 columns or 1 column. That is not possible. Similarly, no columns but 1 row. That is not possible. So either m and both 0. So either m and n both are 0 or both are non-zero. So m and n both are non-zero or both are 0. Hence, least value of m and n are 0. If someone asks you, if m by n be the order of a matrix, then what is the least value of m and n? The least value of m and n are 0. Next comes row matrix. Note this. Look at this matrix. It has one row and 4 columns. Since it has only one row, it is called row matrix. Likewise, look at this matrix. It has 3 rows but only one column. So it is called column matrix. So row matrix has only one row, column matrix has only one column. Is there any matrix which is both row and column? Yes, these are the matrices with single element. It has one row, one column. Since it has one row, it is a row matrix. Since it has one column, it is column matrix. So, if a matrix is both row matrix and column matrix, it is of the form this. Next comes zero matrix. Like zero determinant, we know that zero determinant is a determinant whose all elements are 0. Likewise, zero matrix is a matrix whose all elements are 0. So, zero matrix can be of rectangular shape or can be of square shape, can be a column matrix, can be a row matrix. The only condition is its all elements are 0. Next comes diagonal matrix. Like diagonal determinant. What was the definition of diagonal determinants? A determinant is called diagonal determinants if its leading diagonal elements, all leading diagonal elements are non-zero and all other elements are 0. Likewise, diagonal matrix, this is special definition for a square matrix. No, there is no diagonal rectangular matrix, non-square rectangular matrix. We have to mention non-square because all square matrices are also rectangular matrices. Diagonally a square matrix, note the word square matrices, whose leading diagonal. What is leading diagonal? If it is a square arrangement, then this is one diagonal, this is also another diagonal. But this is called leading diagonal or simply diagonal. So simply diagonal means this. Actually, this has two diagonals, this, and this is not called a diagonal. So when we mention a diagonal, so diagonal means these elements. So diagonal elements are all non-zero. Note the word all non-zero. If in this example you substitute 0 in place of 6, then it is no more a diagonal determinant, because in that case not all diagonal elements are 0. This is a diagonal determinant, this is a diagonal determinant, this is a diagonal determinant. In these the diagonal elements are not only non-zero, they are equal. When all the diagonal elements are equal in a diagonal determinant, then the determinant is called scalar determinant. Why it is called scalar determinant? That we will discuss later. When all the diagonal elements are 1, then these all the diagonal elements of a matrix are 1. Then the matrix is called an identity matrix. This is identity matrix. Since it is order is 3, it is sometimes denoted by I3. Sometimes it is denoted by I3. If it is of second order, then it will be denoted by I2. Of nth order, it is denoted by In. Now scalar matrix B. This example is scalar matrix. What is definition? are a special type of matrices in which all diagonal elements are non-zero and constant, same, and all are. In other words, when all diagonal elements in a diagonal matrix are equal, then it is called a scalar matrix. Then next called unit matrix. I already discussed about it. This is called unit matrix. Here the definition is written for your information. A diagonal matrix with all diagonal elements 1 is called unit matrix of that order and denoted by I or In, where n is equal to order of the square matrix. So this is our IT. Next comes orthogonal matrix. Orthogonal. If transpose, what is transpose of a matrix? Just like determinant, in case of determinant, how we get transpose of a determinant? Just interchange the rows into columns and columns into rows. Likewise, transpose of a matrix. We can take transpose of a matrix by interchanging rows into columns and columns into rows. If transpose of a matrix is its inverse, if its inverse, what is inverse? Just like determinant, in case of determinant, we learn that if A and B be two determinants, B is equal to B into A is equal to I, that is identity determinant, then A and B are inverse to each other. Likewise, in that case also, A into B is equal to B into A is equal to I, this type of I. Then it is called, A and B are called inverse to each other. Now see, if transpose of a matrix is its inverse, you find out from A, you find out A transpose, very easy. Convert rows to columns and columns into rows. And that represents inverse of it. Then the matrix is called orthogonal. So if you are asked to show that this matrix is orthogonal, what you have to take? What do you have to do? You have to take the transpose of the matrix. After that, you have to multiply A with A transpose. Multiplication we not yet learn. We learn sometimes later. So when we learn how to multiply two matrices, then you can multiply A and A transpose. And if you find that product of A and A transpose is I, then A transpose is inverse of A. Now see, orthogonal matrix, this word is valid for square matrices only, because only square matrices has inverse. No rectangular matrix has inverse. Next comes singular matrix. This singular and non-singular matrix, all these terms are singular, non-singular, orthogonal, unique, diagonal. All these terms are applicable in case of square matrix only. Only square matrix, not for non-square rectangular matrix. Singular matrix, now see, corresponding to every square matrix, there exists a determinant with same element. For example, look at this. This is a square matrix, and the determinant corresponding to this will be a determinant whose elements are this. Only these two symbols will change. This symbol and this bracket. They will be represented by two line segments, straight line segments. So that is called determinant corresponding to the square matrix A. Only square matrices has corresponding determinant, because determinant is a square element. Now see what is single. Corresponding to every square matrix, there is a determinant that is called determinant of A or det A. That is denoted by det A, or that a square matrix whose determinant has zero value. If determinant this be zero, then this is singular. Otherwise, it is non-singular. So, to check whether a matrix is singular or non-singular, what you have to do? You have to find out. First you have to check whether the matrix is a square or not. If it is not non-square rectangular, then your conclusion will be it is a rectangular matrix. So no corresponding determinant exists. So question of singularity does not arise. But if number of row is equal to number of columns, that is the determinant matrix is a square matrix, then you have to convert you have to construct the corresponding determinant. And then you have to find the value of the corresponding determinant. And if you find that value of the determinant is 0, then the matrix is singular. And if value of the determinant is non-zero, then the matrix is non-singular. Very simple. Symmetric matrix. These two terms, symmetric matrix and skew symmetric matrix, these are also applicable in case of square matrix. So, likewise, in case of determinant, how we defined a symmetric matrix? If Aij is equal to Aj, that is A12 element and A21 element are same, A13 element and A31 elements are same, likewise. The same definition here. A square matrix A is equal to Aij, I mean n into n, is symmetric if Aij is equal to minus. Same definition for skew symmetric if Aij is equal to minus Aj. Just recall the definitions in case of determinant. Now note that diagonal element of a skew symmetric matrices are all zero. That statement we have already proved in case of a determinant. The same proof in case of matrix also applicable. Same. Only notations are, namings are different. You see, Aij is a diagonal element if I is equal to j. Now we know that in a skew symmetric matrix Aij is equal to minus Aj. Now putting I is equal to get Aii is equal to minus Aii. This A minus Ai comes here, so it becomes plus Aii. So 2Aii is equal to 0. 2 is not is equal to 0. That implies Aii is 0. And Aii represents diagonal elements. So these are the definition of different kind of matrices. Now we will discuss about properties or some definitions, properties of matrices and some definitions related to matrices. Now we discuss some definitions related to matrix. First, transpose, we already disclosed. Transpose, what is transpose? What is inverse? Already discussed. Matrix, already told. Important one is equality of matrices. There is a big difference between equality of matrix and equality of determinant. When two determinants were called equal, when they have same value. But since matrix don't have any value, they are equal only when they are
identical twins. That is, see the definition why I call them identical twins. Two matrices are equal if they have same order first. In case of determinant, this condition was absent because only value was considered. They have same corresponding elements. That is, first element A11 element must be equal to A11 element, A12 element must be equal to A12 element, and so on. For example, if A be Aij of order m by n and B be Bij with order k by l, so they are equal if m is equal to k and n is equal to n. M is equal to k and n is equal to n. You may face some problems related to this property. And not only that, Aij is equal to Bij. That is, A11 is equal to B11, A12 is equal to B12, and so on. Now, what is the application of this definition? Look at this example. These two matrices are equal. Now, whether they can be equal or not, yes, they have same order. It is 2 by 3, it is also 2 by 3. So, they can be equal. Since they are equal given, so first element is equal to first element. First element must be equal, 5 is equal to 2. Second element must be equal to second element, A12 element. That is 3 is equal to plus 5, and so on. For example, second C, these two matrices cannot be equal. So this is an impossible relation. Why? Because this order of these two matrices mismatch. This has order 2 by 3 and this has 2 by 2. So this is equal to this is not possible since they have different orders. Determinant of a square matrix that we already discussed. If Aij n by n be a square matrix, then determinant Aij n is called determinant of the square matrix A and denoted by det A. We will read it as det A. For example, A is a square matrix. So det A is equal to this. Now see, the elements are identical. They have identical elements. Only the symbols changes. This is bracket and this is straight line segment. Adjoint of a square matrix. This is very, very important. Let if A be a square matrix, then det A be a corresponding determinant. Corresponding to every square matrix like this, you can have the determinant. And in determinant, corresponding to every element, there is a cofactor. So determinant with elements Aij, then corresponding to every Aij in det A, there are cofactors Cij. So this element with its cofactor, this element with its cofactor, this element with its cofactor. That you have done in case of determinant, in the chapter of determinant. So from this determinant, you can find the determinant replacing every element by the corresponding cofactor. That is called adjoint of the determinant. So you can fill up, if you can call, that is, so you can construct the adjoint of this determinant, and corresponding to adjoint of this determinant you can find a matrix. So corresponding to every square matrix there is a determinant, and corresponding to every determinant there is a matrix also. So after finding adjoint of this determinant, you can find out the corresponding matrix, and transpose of this matrix is called adjoint of matrix. So what is the process of algorithm of finding adjoint of it? See the process and example on the right hand side. Step 1, from a given A, construct date A. So this is given A, I constructed date A. Construct adjoint of date A. So adjoint of date A, cofactor of 1 is 18 minus 63, that is minus 43. So that I have filled up. Adjoint. Corresponding to this adjoint determinant, I constructed this matrix. So corresponding to every matrix, there is square matrix, there is a determinant, and corresponding to every determinant, there is a matrix. After that, I took transpose of this matrix. Now see, this was the first row and this become first column. This was second row, this becomes second column. This was third row, this becomes third column. And this is called adjoint of A. So these are the steps you have to follow to find out adjoint of a matrix. Next comes multiplication of a matrix by a number. 1, 2 or 3 is done by multiplying all elements. Look the word, notice the word all elements of the matrix by that scalar or number. That number is called scalar. For example, if A is, it is applicable in case of non-square rectangular matrix as well as square matrix. I take as rectangular matrix, and 4A means every element are multiplied by 4. See, 3 is multiplied by 4 gives 12. Minus 2 is multiplied by 4 to give minus 8. 5 is multiplied by 4 to give 20. And so on. Likewise, A by 2. That is, you are multiplying A by 1 by 2. So all elements are multiplied by 1 by 2. 3 into 1 by 2 is 3 by 2. Minus 2 into 1 by 2 is minus 1, and so on. This one. Addition of two matrices. What was the conditions in case of addition? Now notice that this multiplication by a number, a matrix multiplication by a number. Now see, multiplying a matrix by a number and multiplying a determinant by a number have different process. In case of determinant, what we did? We multiplied a single row or single column with that number. But in case of matrix, you have to multiply all elements. So there is a difference between multiplication of a matrix by a number and multiplication of a determinant by a number. In case of determinant, we multiplied elements of a single row or single column by that number. But in case of matrix, we multiplied all elements. Addition of two matrices. Now see, logically, addition of any two determinant was possible, though there was a condition. What was the condition? Condition was to add two determinants. The determinant should possess some properties. What are the properties? Except one row, all other rows must be identical. Except one column, all other columns must be identical. In that case, addition was done by adding the non-identical elements of the non-identical columns, keeping the identical columns or rows intact. Actually, though this was a condition, but we can add any two determinants. But because after applying different row operations and column operations, we can convert any two determinants in the required format. And obviously, the determinant must be of same order, and we learned how to increase and decrease order of a determinant. So if the determinants were not of same order, we can increase or decrease order of someone to make them of equal order. After that, applying elementary row operations or column operations, we can convert every determinant in the form which satisfies the conditions of addition. So addition in case of determinant was closed. You can add any two determinant. But in case of matrix, addition is not closed because you can't add any two matrices. Look at the conditions and that will support my claim. If possible or defined, if they are of same order and there is no process or method of increasing or changing the order of a matrix. No process can change the order of a matrix. So if orders mismatch, you can't convert them to same order matrices. So you can't add them. So if any two matrices are given to you, you can't add them. You can add them if they have same order. And addition is done by adding the corresponding elements. Look at the example. So A is equal to Aij m by n, B is equal to Bij k by k into L. Then A plus B is defined when M is equal to K and N is equal to L. And A plus B is Aij plus Bij mn. For example, look A, this is A, this is B and this is C. It has order 2 by 4, it is 2 by 4 but it is 2 by 2. So you can't add A to C or you can't add B to C, but you can add A and B. Now see what is A and B. 1 is added with minus 2, that gives you minus 1. 2 is added with 5, that gives you 7 and so on. All other sums are done. Now some properties are of addition of determinants, matrices. Addition of matrices on the set of matrices is not a binary operation because you can't add any two matrices. But if we choose the set as set of matrices of same order, then it is binary operation. Note that if we choose the set, in this case we choose the set as set of matrices. Instead of set of matrices, if we choose the set as set of matrices of same order, say set of matrices of order 3 by 4, set of matrices, square matrices of 4th order, like this. In that case, the addition is binary operation. In that case, any two elements can be added. Addition of matrices is commutative, that is A plus B is equal to B plus. That I have given the proof. Let A is equal to Aij m by n, B is equal to Bij m by n. So they have same order. So addition is possible. So what is A plus B? A plus B is Aij is added with Bij. That is A11 is added with B11. And now see, Aij and Bij represents two numbers. And on the number line or on the numbers, addition is commutative. So Aij plus Bij is Aji plus Bj. Aij plus Bij is Bij plus Aij. Now this shows that this is nothing but B plus A. So look at the proof and practice it. Note 3. Addition of matrices is associative. That I have given proof. A is Aij, B is Bij, C is Cij. So A plus B plus C. A plus within bracket B plus. So first we have to do the calculations within the first bracket. I have done it. Bij plus Cij is added, Aij this. Now this can be expressed as this plus this. And now see, this is this is Aij plus Bij is nothing but Aij plus Bij, and this is A and this is B. This is A, this is B. Now see, this is A and this is B. So that gives you A plus B and plus C. So A plus first bracket B plus C is equal to first bracket A plus B plus C. That establishes that as addition is associated. Note 4. On the set of matrices with respect to addition, there exists no identity element. No identity element, because identity element must be unique. So its order is fixed. So it cannot be added with any matrix. But note that on the set of matrices of order m by n, when the elements are all matrices of order m by n, all are matrices but they have same order. With respect to addition, the zero matrix of order m by n plays the role of additive identity. For example, if we take the set as set of all matrices of 2 by 3, then the additive identity will be 2 by 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 matrix. You can write it easily. And all elements has their inverse. Not only that, identity elements, all inverse and A inverse of A is minus. So these are the properties of matrix addition.
Now comes multiplication of matrices. Method of multiplication of determinants. In case of determinants, multiplication was possible when they are same order, and multiplication was done in 4 different ways, that is row, 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 column, column, row, and column, column methods. But in case of matrix, the conditions and methods are quite different. A multiplication of two matrices is defined when number of columns on the left matrix, that means if you are going to multiply the matrix A with matrix B, that is AB, then A is called left matrix and B is called right matrix. So left matrix, number of columns in left matrix is equal to number of row at the right matrix, and product is done following the RC method, that is row into column, row into column. So in the product matrix, Aij element will be the product of sum of the products of ith row elements with jth column elements. Hence, if A has order m by n and B has order k by l, then A into B is possible when n is equal to k. This n is equal to this k. And order of, what will be the order of AB? Order of AB will be m by n. So it will be m by n. For example, A is a 2-3 matrix, B is a 3-3 matrix, and C is a 2-2 matrix. Now see, A into B is possible because number of column in A is equal to number of row in B. But see, A into C is not possible, B into C is not possible, but see, C into A is possible because of number of columns 1, 2 in C is equal to number of row in A. So C has 2 columns. So C into A is possible. And A into B is done by multiplying first two elements. So 2 into 2 gives you 4, 4 into 6 gives you 24, 3 into 8 gives you 24. Next element is first row into second column. So 2 into 5 gives you 10, 4 into 9, 36, 3 into 3, 9. And likewise, we know the method of how to perform RC method in case of determinant. This is multiplication. Now comes properties of multiplication, matrix multiplication. Now see, since number of column of left-hand matrix must to be equal to number of row on the second matrix, that is right-hand matrix, so any two matrices cannot be multiplied. So on the set of matrices, the product is, matrix product is not a binary operation because any two matrices cannot be multiplied. But on the set of, note that on the set of square matrices of same order, say set of all square matrices of second order, or set of all square matrices of third order, set of all square matrices of fourth order, it is a binary operation. Because any two matrices of fourth order can be multiplied. Any two matrices of second order can be multiplied. Matrix multiplication is not commutative. This is very, very, very important property. Matrix multiplication is not commutative. For example, if A has order 3 by 4 and B has order 4 by 5, then A into B is possible. Because number of column in A is equal to number of row in B. But see, P into A is not possible, not defined. Column in B is 5 and number of row in A is 5. See, so 5 not is equal to. So B into A is not possible. Look at the second example. A has order 3 by 4, B has order 4 by 4. Now see, number of column equal to number of row. So A into B is defined. Number of column is equal to number of row. So B into A is also defined. But order of A into B is 3 by 3. Whereas order of B into A is 4 by 4. So A into B and B into A are of different order. So they cannot be equal. So sometimes A be possible does not imply BA is possible. Sometimes AB and BA both possible, but both may be of different orders. Sometimes AB and BA are all defined and of same order. In this example, order of AB and BA was defined. But if you get two matrices A and B such that AB and BA are all defined and have same order, then also they cannot be equal. Look at the example. A is this, 2 by 2. B is 2 by 2. So A into B. Number of column is equal to number of row. A into B is this, 1, 2, 3. B into A. Number of column is equal to number of row. B into A is defined. And what is B into A? This. Now see, A into B and B into A are defined. Matrix multiplication is associative. Matrix multiplication is associative. A into B into C is equal to B. Thus you can prove very easily with taking three matrices. So A into B into C is B. Its general proof is little bit of lengthy. That's why its general proof is out of our syllabus, beyond of the scope of our syllabus. Matrix multiplication is distributive over matrix addition. That is, if A, B, C be three matrices, then A into B plus C is A into B plus A into C. This is called left distributive. Left distributive because A is multiplied on the left of B plus. Likewise, this is called right distributive. Now note that if the matrix multiplication is defined on the set of square matrices of same order, then the identity matrix of that order is the identity element. Is the identity element. So, on this set of all matrices of say fourth order, square matrices of fourth order, multiplication is binary. It has identity element, that is fourth order I4, but not all elements has inverse, because inverse exists only for non-singular matrices. For there are plenty of fourth order matrices which are singular, so they don't have any inverse. So note that on the set of matrices of fourth order or second order or third order, the multiplication is binary operation, non-commutative, associative, distributive over addition. Identity element exists, but inverse of all elements does not exist. Next property, inverse of a matrix. How to calculate inverse of a matrix? Let if A and B are two square matrices of same order, so only square matrices has inverse, such that A into B is equal to B into A is equal to I, then A and B are inverse to each other. This is definition of inverse. Now see, note that let A be a square matrix like this, a third order. I consider third order. Then adjoint A is this, because you have to construct date A, then adjoint of date A, then you have to construct transpose, and the corresponding matrices is adjoint. Now how A into adjoint? Look at the matrix multiplication is done by RC. So first row into first column. Now see, first column represents first column. If we consider these two as two determinants, now see, first column represents cofactor of the first row. So first row elements of date A multiplied by first row cofactors. So that gives the value of date A. We know that from determinant point of view. Now see, first row element of date A are multiplied by second row cofactors, and from the properties of determinant we know that this sum is 0. Like multiplied by third row cofactor gives 0. Second row element multiplied by first row cofactor gives us, first row cofactors gives us 0. Second row element multiplied by second row cofactors gives us date A. Second row elements multiplied by third row cofactor gives us 0. And likewise the third row. Now see. Now recall the multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. All elements are multiplied. That's why we can write it as date A into, because date A is a scalar or a number, 1 0 0 0 1 0 0. If you multiply this matrix by date A, what will be date A 0 0 0 date A 0, that is this. Now see, according for this property, this is called scalar multiple. If we place 3 3 3 instead of this, for example, in this determinant, look, go to the previous example. Why was the determinant? Now see, this we can write, it is 3 into I. We can write B as 3 into C. So it is scalar multiple, that is 3 times of identity matrix. That's why this kind of matrices are called scalar matrices. Okay. Why they are called scalar matrices? They can be expressed as a scalar multiple of identity matrix. Scalar multiple of identity. Next, in this example, A into adjoint A is equal to date A into I. From there, if we divide both sides by date A, that you can do when date A is non-zero. When date A is 0, you can't do this step, you can perform this operation. So, in that case, we can say A into adjoint A by date A is identity. Again, if we multiply adjoint A by A, so these two matrices interchange. So this row will be multiplied by this column. Now see, this row represents, look at very minor thing, this row represents cofactor of the first column elements in data. And these are the first column elements. So when you are multiplying adjoint A into data, that is reverse, order reverse, then first element will be sum of the product of the coefficient of first column element of data with first column elements. That gives you data. Likewise, you will get same matrix, that is date A into I. So in that case also, adjoint A by date A into A is I. Now see, this is I and this is I. So from the definition of inverse, what we get? A inverse A is adjoint A by date. When date A not is equal to 0. So only non-singular determinants has their inverse. So what are the steps or algorithm to follow to find inverse of a matrix? Step 1, construct date A and find its value. Look whether it is positive 0 or not. Positive or negative, we don't bother about. Positive, negative, 5 or 5 crores, that not a matter. Only thing matter is whether it is 0 or not. If it is 0, then inverse does not exist. No need to follow the other steps. Your conclusion will be there. Since its modulus is determinant value is corresponding determinant value is 0, its inverse does not exist. If data not is equal to 0, we will proceed to second step. We will construct adjoint of data, Cij. Then we will construct the corresponding matrix. Notice the brackets. Matrix. And then we will, on the step 4, then we will take its transpose. That is I and J are interchange. And data, this step we will verify on the step 1. We will treat in practical, we will follow this step as a part of step 1. So after you can omit this step. So say after step 4, divide this by data. Divide this determinant matrix by data. When data not is equal to 0, and we will have the inverse. Now let us discuss it with an example. Let A be a matrix. Step 1, data constructed and value of data evaluated, and value comes as minus 76 equal to 0. So you have to state that. So A inverse exists. Now adjoint data. Now see, 3 is replaced by its cofactor. 2 is replaced by its cofactor. 1 is replaced with its cofactor. Now see, after finding this, you should check whether this is correct or not. Whether you make some mistake in finding this or not. How could you check it? Very simple. Multiply first row elements by first row cofactors and check whether the sum comes to minus 77 or not. Second row element with second row cofactor and check whether the sum is minus 77 or not. Similarly, third row elements by third row cofactors and check. After checking, proceed for the third. In this case, say 3 into minus 1 is minus 3, 2 into minus 20 is minus 40, so minus 43, 1 into minus 30, minus 34, so minus 77. 2 into minus 4 is minus 8, 5 into minus 3 is minus 15, so minus 23, 3 into minus 4, minus 54, minus 54, minus 23, minus 77. So this way we will check this. After this, adjoint A is calculated. Now see, there are 4 steps, was 5 steps. How I merge 4th step with 3rd step. Adjoint A, I constructed the matrix corresponding to this and transpose is taken. So adjoint. So 3rd and 4th are merged here. So A inverse is adjoint A by J2. So 1 by 77 you can write in this way, or you can divide all elements with minus 77. Both the results are correct. Both the answers are correct. Now comes 2 definitions. First one is trace of a matrix and second one is rank of a matrix. Not so important, but these are 2 definitions. Trace of a matrix is sum of the diagonal elements. Now, diagonal elements exist only in case of square matrices. So, this definition is only defined in case of square matrices. So, in a square matrix, the sum of the diagonal elements is called trace of the matrix. For example, let A be a diagonal matrix. So, it's A be a matrix, square matrix, not diagonal. So, its diagonal elements are 3, 9 and minus 2. So, its trace is 3 plus 9 plus minus 2. That is 10. Now, note that trace of a skew symmetric matrix is always 0 because its all diagonal elements are 0. Since all diagonal elements of skew symmetric matrix are 0, so trace of a skew symmetric matrix is 0. Now see, trace of an identity determinant, not determinant, it will be matrix. Trace of an identity matrix of order n is n. Trace of an identity matrix is n. For third order, there are 3 diagonal elements and all are 1, so sum of 3 ones is 3. Trace of 0 square matrix, whose all elements are 0. So diagonal elements are also 0. So trace is 0. Now very important, trace of a scalar matrix cannot be 0 because scalar matrix means all diagonal elements are equal and non-zero. So all may be positive or all are negative. So sum of 3 or 4 or 5 negative numbers cannot be 0 and sum of few positive numbers also cannot be 0. So trace of a scalar matrix cannot be 0. Trace of a diagonal matrix can be 0. Diagonal matrix, that means its diagonal elements are non-zero and all other elements are 0. So for example, see this example, this is a diagonal matrix whose diagonal elements are 5, minus 2 and minus 3. Now see its trace is 5 plus minus 2 plus minus 3, that gives you 0. So trace, just you have to know the definition, what is trace and how to calculate trace. It has no application, no other significance. Next, rank of a matrix. This rank has a lot of uses, but in class 11, 12 or in HS, we will just know the definition and how to find the rank of a matrix. What is rank? Let A be a square matrix of order m by n. then the rank of a matrix A is the order of the highest order non-singular determinant that can be formed with row and columns using row and columns of A. Note that rank of A. Now later I will discuss the rank with an example. Now note that rank of A is less than equal to minimum of M and N. For example, if order of the determinant be 3 by 4, then rank of A can be maximum value of maximum rank of the matrix can be 3. For example, let's see the matrix A given by 2 by 3 matrix. So its rank can be maximum can be 2. Now see, the rank of A is less than equal to 2. Note that I can form a determinant taking these 4 elements. Now see, value of this determinant is 0. I can form a determinant taking these 4 elements. Since its order is 2 by 3, so maximum second order determinant can be formed. So say this has also value 0. But see, this determinant, that is this determinant, is of non-zero value. So it is non-singular determinant of order 2. So its rank is rank of any non-singular matrix of order n is n. Non-singular matrix. This term is used in case of square matrix. So that means the matrix given is a square matrix. And since it is non-singular, so that A is non-zero. So its rank is n. Rank of a singular matrix, if the matrix itself being singular, square matrix whose data is 0, then its rank must be less than n. Its rank must be less than n. Rank of A is equal to 0 means A is a 0 matrix. Only 0 matrix has 0 rank, because all elements are 0. So no determinant is there. No determinant can be formed whose value is non-zero. Rank of A is undefined. Sometimes rank becomes undefined. When it becomes undefined? When A is an empty matrix, that is, it has no row or column, no element. So its order is 0, 0. Rank of A is determined by elementary row operation methods by reducing the given matrix this to the form this. So you have to make this element 1. That you can do by taking A11, dividing the total matrix by A11. Row operations give, it is row operation. So you can divide this row by A11. So this item will become, so this term will become 1. After that, subtract A21 times of this row from second row, this term will be 0. And likewise, all terms you can make 0. This type of operations we have done in determinant. So if it is 1, then how to make this element 0? You know it. So after making this 0, you have to convert this term to 1. Since it is 0, you can divide this row by this term. If there is 7, you divide the second row by 7. So this become 1. And as soon as this become 1, you can make these elements and all other following elements of the column to 0. Likewise, you will, after applying elementary row operations, you can convert. This is identity determinant of first order. This is identity determinant of second order. Likewise, you converting this element 1 to an identity determinant of fourth order, third order. Likewise, the highest of determinant you can form is the rank. The maximum order of the identity matrix that can be formed is the rank of the matrix. The method is not included in our syllabus, only the definition is enough to know, and few simple sums. Now, what is of matrices? some properties of that, very important. First, A plus B is equal to A plus C implies B is equal to C. That you can prove very easily. A plus B is equal to A plus C is equal to implies B is equal to C. Next, see, A into B is equal to A into C. A into B is equal to A into C. That implies B is equal to C. But it is conditionally. When A inverse exists, that is A is non-singular. When A inverse exists. So, if A is a non-square matrix, then we are certain that we certainly can't claim B is equal to C. Because non-square elements does not have any inverse. Clear? Non-square elements does not have inverse. So there may be two rectangular determinants A and B whose product is equal to A and C. There may be sub matrices, but B and C may not be equal. May be equal also, obviously, may not be equal implies may be equal. Hence note that A into B is equal to A. What we did? We multiply both on the both sides of the equation. On the left by A inverse, so A inverse A into B. So A inverse A is I, so B is equal to I. A into A inverse is I. But this happens only when A is invertible. That is, A is square matrix, non-singular. That's why note that A into B is equal to A does not imply B is equal to I. That implies B is equal to I when A is non-singular square matrix. Two very important theorems. Inverse. A into B inverse is B inverse into A inverse, provided both are exist. Why I call these conditions? Both A and B are two rectangular matrices. Say A is of order 2 by 3 and B is of 3 by 2. So AB is 2 by 2 square matrix. So AB inverse can exist. But since B is rectangular, B inverse does not exist. A is rectangular, A inverse does not exist. That's why the condition of existence of both side expressions to be applied. Okay. Because A and B, AB, product AB can be square, where A and B are rectangular. Next, AB transpose, same condition. AB transpose is equal to B transpose into A transpose. This condition, in this case, A and B may be rectangular and square. Both may be rectangular and square. But in this case, A and B both must be square and non-singular. And AB also non-singular. There are matrices where A and B are non-singular, but AB is singular. There are matrices. Now see, AB transpose is equal to B transpose into A transpose. Know that B transpose, B A into B, order is changed, B into A. So this is order change, when both the multiplications are possible. But when A plus B transpose, then it is A transpose plus B transpose. Likewise, A plus B inverse is A inverse plus B inverse. A plus B inverse is also A inverse plus B inverse. Now see, A square, determinant of A square. A is a matrix. You find A square. So A square is only possible when A is square matrix. Only square matrices has its square. Go through the conditions of multiplication and you will easily prove that A square is possible when A is square matrix. Here, so A square is mod A square. That you can prove very easily. Take a second order determinant and A11, A12 and prove it very easy. Next, very important result. Very important result. I explained it with an example. Now see, determinant of NA, date of NA. So A is a determinant matrix which is multiplied by N. Obviously A is square matrix is n to the power k into date. Why n to the power k? Come to the example. This A is a third order determinant. If you multiply A by 4, what will happen? All terms, all elements will be multiplied by 4. So first row will be 4, 8 and 16. So from in date 4A, it will be a determinant of the form 4, 8, 16, first row. So you can take 4 common from the first row. Likewise, you can take 4 common from second row and third row. So 4 to the power 3 will be multiplied by date A and date A will be given. Likewise, if it is of 4th order, then 4 to the power 4 will be there. If it is 5th order, 4 to the power 5 will be there. That's why n to the power 3. Next, very important property, and you have to memorize the at least one such example. I have given example which is very, very, very simple. A into B equal to 0. So far what we learned, product of two numbers is 0 when at least one is 0. This is true for number system. But for matrices, that does not imply at least one of A and B is 0. Note that A is 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. So it is not a 0 matrix. B is also not a 0 matrix. So A not is equal to 0, B not is equal to 0. But see, A into B is 0. But see, A into B is 0. Here 0 means 0 matrix. So you have to memorize at least one example because you may ask this question. The question may arise like this. Does A into B is equal to 0 implies A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 0? Justify your answer with an example. Next two very obvious results. A transpose of A transpose is A. Inverse of A inverse is A, because from definition it follows if A and B, A into B is equal to B into A is I, then A and B are inverse to each other. Now, a beautiful result, A into adjoint A and date of A into adjoint A. Now see, go through the example. A into adjoint A into adjoint A. What we get? A matrix like this. If we find determinant of this matrix, date of A adjoint, what will be the determinant? Date A 0, 0, 0, date A 0, 0, 0, date A. And we know that result value of a diagonal determinant is product of the diagonal elements. So its value will be date A into date A into date A, that is date A cube. Since A is third order, it is date A cube. If A is of fourth order, it will be date A to the power 4. So it will be date A to the power 4. That's why the result follows. A date of A into adjoint A is date A to the power n, where n is order of the matrix. Now see there is one result. Date of adjoint A is date A to the power n minus 1. What is value of date of adjoint A? It is date A to the power n minus 1. So these are the important properties of matrices.
Now comes last application of matrices, that is solution of linear simultaneous equation by matrix method. The theorem says if a11 x1 a12 x2 dot 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 a1 and xn is equal to b1, a21 x1 a22 x2 dot 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 a2 and xn, a31 x1 dot 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 such and such an1 up to bn. So this represents n linear equations with n variables. Now see, number of equation and number of variables must be equal. Then if this is a system of linear equations, then this system of linear equation can be expressed as product of this matrix, these two matrix equal to this matrix. Why? By matrix multiplication we know that the first element of these two is a11 x1 plus a12 x2, that is, this is first element, this is second element, this is third element, because see that it is a n by n matrix and it is n by 1 matrix. So product will be n by 1 matrix, that is a column matrix. So the column matrix looks like this. Just apply a bracket here and bracket here, and from equality of matrices that will gives you these equations. Now we represent this equation as Ax is equal to B, where here A represents this matrix and X represents this matrix and B represents this matrix. Then on multiplying both sides on the left by A inverse, we get A inverse Ax is equal to A inverse B. Now we know that the matrix multiplication is associative. So associative rule is applied. On applying associative rule, A inverse A, that is I, nothing but I. A inverse A is I. So I into X is I, because I is identity matrix. So X is equal to A inverse. Since A is n by n, so A inverse is n by n and B is n by 1. So product will be n by 1 and X is also n by 1. So from there you will have, using equality of matrices, value of x1, x2, x3. Then matrix equality will give the values of x1, x2, x3. Now come to an example. Question will arise in like this: solve this by matrix method. This is system of linear equations. Answer will start like this: the given set of simultaneous equations can be expressed in the form Ax is equal to B, where A is this. This is called coefficient matrix, X is called variable matrix, and B is called constant matrix. So X is equal to A inverse B when A inverse exists. If this is a singular matrix, then you can't solve this. Now det A, we find the value of det A, that is minus 77. I skip some intermediate steps because we have already find the inverse of this matrix in our previous example. So from this previous example, note that this is nothing but minus 1 by 7. So inverse is this. So X is my A inverse. This much is A inverse into B. Keep minus 1 by 77 on the outside and just multiply these two matrices. So matrix multiplication gives you 3, 2, minus 1. So x1 minus 1. From equality of matrices, we have x is equal to 3, y is equal to 2, and z is equal to minus 1. This is with 3 variables. If there are 3 variables, then it will be a question of 5 marks. Now, solve by matrix method, second example. two variables. So two equations. The given set of equations can be expressed as Ax is equal to B, like the previous one, where A is a 2 by 2 matrix, X is a 2 by 1 matrix, and B is a 2 by 1 matrix. Now X is equal to A inverse B. All steps are identical to previous one. Now A is this. Notice very minorly. So date A is this, and date A is 13. So not is equal to 0, and you have to mention this A inverse exists. Now adjoint of date A. Adjoint of A. So you have to find out cofactor of 3. Cofactor of 3 is 1. So I put 1. Cofactor of minus 5. Since minus 5 is 1, 2 element, minus 1 will be multiplied with the corresponding minor. The corresponding minor is just 2. So it is minus 2. Likewise, all others are calculated. So adjoint. So adjoint is, you have to form the matrix with these 4 elements. I formed it a matrix, and you have to take its transpose. So transpose. Now from this result, notice that if A is a square matrix, then in adjoint A, diagonal elements will change their position. See, diagonal elements change their positions, and all other elements change their sign. Minus 5 becomes plus 5, plus 2 becomes minus. So this observation you can apply in case of short questions. You can directly write adjoint A from here. Start with A, so adjoint A is this, without showing the intermediate steps. So A inverse is 1 by 13 this. So again X is A inverse into B, A inverse into B, so A inverse into B, keeping 1 by 3, I multiplied these two matrices, and the result is 6, 3. So X, Y is 6, 3, so X is equal to 6 and Y is equal to 3 are the answers. Very simple, just you need a lot of concentration. A lot of concentration. Now I will end today's lesson with two examples. Two examples. Application 1. If A is square matrix, then A square minus 3A minus 13i. Find the value of A square minus 3A minus 13i, and hence find A inverse. Notice that, and hence. That means you have to find A inverse using this, not following this method. Not following this method. You have to find, not following this method, you have to find A inverse using the result, value of this result. Now see, A square is only defined, I just told you earlier, just A square is only possible when A is square matrix and A is square matrix. So A square, this into this, I multiplied these two matrices accordingly. 3A means 3 into A, so all elements are multiplied by 3. 13i, 13 into this is I, so all elements are multiplied 13, and I substituted the values and added, and that gives you 0. A 0 matrix. Now from using, so its value is 0. So using this result, I will find A inverse. This is 0. This is 39. I multiplied both sides from the left by A inverse. So whether you are multiplied from the left or right, that matters in this case. So A inverse. So distributive property, A inverse A, associative property and distributive properties are applied. Now see, A inverse into A is I. Similarly, A inverse A is I. So A inverse A minus 3i is equal to 13 A inverse. So A minus 3i is equal to 13 inverse. Now see, A is this and 3i is this. So after subtracting, we get 2 minus 3 is minus 1, 5 minus 0 is 5, 3 minus 0 is 3, and 1 minus 3 is 2. That is 13 A inverse. So what is A inverse? This by 13. So that gives you the value of A inverse. So you have to calculate A inverse in this way, since it is to find the A inverse using the result. Application 2, very short application and last application for the day. Let A is equal to this, B is equal to this, and 2A minus 3B plus X is 0. Then find X. Very simple. 2A minus 3B plus X is 0. So X is 3B minus 2A. Now 3 into B, 2A. Now complete the sum. So today we discuss about different properties of matrices, different definitions of matrices, and we compared the properties and definitions with determinant. Now you go through your books, try to solve the exercise, and next day we will solve the problems you faced.